Bowers, welcoming you to Dialogue here at E+ TV6. COVID has shut us out of our studio, so we're going on the road. Scott Williams is with us, and we're going to the Discovery Park. Well, we're not going there. Scott's there already. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out here and checking out Discovery Park of America with us.
Well, I tell you what, it's exciting to be there and have Scott, a thumbnail of the history and the reason that there is a Discovery Park.
Yeah, you know, Robert Kirkland was a philanthropist and a businessman who lived in Northwest Tennessee, and he got to travel a lot around the world as part of his business. And so when he started to try to figure out what kind of legacy he was going to leave behind, he decided he wanted to leave some kind of a center of education and inspiration. And so he invested in and built Discovery Park of America, which is here in Union City, Tennessee. It's a place that the mission is to inspire children and adults to see beyond. And it's a lot like a cabinet of curiosity. You don't know what's going to be around the next corner, from science to math to history to space. We cover pretty much everything you can imagine here at Discovery Park.
How many acres in the park?
You know, as you can see over my shoulder, it's beautiful here. This is 50 acres. It's been beautifully landscaped. We've got two big ponds, a stream that flows through the whole space, flowers everywhere. We have European gardens, we have Japanese gardens, and we have American gardens. So it's just really a beautiful place to come and spend some time.
I shared with you, I had the opportunity to interview Mr. Kirkland right for the development of the park, and he said the garden would continue to develop over the next decades. He said, my expectation is there will be a time when people will come, if nothing else, to see the garden.
Well, and we're there now. His vision became a reality, and a lot of people do come and walk through our trails and just enjoy being outdoors, especially a day like today. It's especially beautiful outside, and the weather is perfect. We have a lot of days like that here in Northwest Tennessee.
So what all are we seeing? I see lakes and other things, and those are the fishing lakes, right, that are open now?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. What you're seeing right now, we have our Simmons Bank Ag Center, where we're opening a new exhibit on innovation in agriculture on December 5th of this year. You're seeing our Mill Ridge, which actually has a working grist mill that is powered by the lake, much like they would have done decades ago. And then we have the children's garden here that you see over my shoulder, one of the most popular areas for kids. You're also going to see another of the popular areas for kids once we get inside.
Okay. The concerts that are done on Fridays, those are done where?
Sure. We actually we'll take a look over that way. If you'll come over here, you'll see just to the left, you'll see on the other side of the church, we actually have a train and a depot, and the concerts that we have take place there. The church that you see there is 125-year-old church that was actually taken apart piece by piece and put back together again here to show people what church was like 125 years ago.
That church originated where, Scott? It was taken from where?
It was very close to here, sitting in a cotton field. So
okay,
wow. It's a little Union City church.
So there it is. Well, the grounds are absolutely beautiful. Scott Williams with us, and we're visiting the Discovery Park of America on this dialogue here at E+ TV6. Well, you want to go inside?
Absolutely. Let's go inside. The next place we're going to stop is going to be in our little cafe. We call it Saban's Cafe, and I'm about to show you why. Come on in.
We're visiting Discovery Park of America. So Scott, this is the cafe.
Yeah, this is Saban's Cafe. And the Sabans, you'll come over here, I'll show you some of the work that they did. The Sabans were photographers around the turn of the century that shot pictures of Reelfoot Lake, which is around here, and took some of the rare photos. There weren't a lot of cameras around here in that time. So the body of work that they created, they took hundreds and hundreds of photos. And so we thought, what better tribute to them than to cafe after them and decorate the walls with their pictures. So food and beverages available here at Discovery Park if you get hungry. Another important part for a museum is to exit through the gift shop. Gift shop is right over here. And of course, we have a lot of really fun items that people can shop and buy. This is the giant man slide. Okay. This creates a lot of oohs and ahs from everybody who visits. As you can see, you can slide down 2 stories down the man slide flag. in our Dino Hall, you can see there's a lot of examples of the dinosaurs that once roamed the earth. And these are also really popular with kids.
Scott, tell me how these or where these exhibits originated.
Sure. So that's a really interesting story. When Robert Kirkland decided he wanted to create some kind of a center for education or a museum, he put an ad in the paper and said, we're going to meet at this hotel at this time on this day. If you're interested in joining me, please come. And more than 250 members of the community gathered there that day. He divided the room up into sections, and he put little signs on the tables that said transportation, dinosaurs, military, astronauts, and whatever people were interested in, that's the table they went to, and those became the committees. And so those people worked together to create what they thought would make an interesting education experience for this area. But Mr. Kirkland also wanted it to be, most importantly, fun. He didn't want anything boring or dry. He wanted exciting, fun, energetic, and that's exactly what everybody put together.
Okay.
Speaking of fun and energetic and exciting, I want to take you over here and introduce you to one of the most photographed places that we have here, but also to Katie, who's going to show you a little bit more about Discovery Park. So come on, let's go over here to the giant cave bear.
Hey, Katie.
This is where people pose for pictures with the cave bear. That's become a real iconic moment of any Discovery Park.
Well, you know, we think about bears being East Tennessee, but they were in West Tennessee, right?
That's right, especially big ones like this one. Wow. And Katie, how long have you been here at Discovery Park?
I have been here for 6 years, Scott.
Katie's been here for 6 years, so she knows where everything is. And she's going to give us a really exciting behind-the-scenes look here at Discovery Park.
All right.
Great, thank you for that awesome introduction. How are y'all today?
Doing great, Katie. It's good to have you with us. So where are we headed now?
Thank y'all for joining us virtually. I'm sure you've heard the great history of Discovery Park here. And so I'm just going to walk you a little bit through our regional gallery, and then we're going to meet a slithery friend. So when guests get here, we like to guide them to go to their left through the regional gallery. This is all about Reelfoot Lake and West Tennessee and just the history and culture that we have here. It's a great waterfowl hunting area up here, fishing. And again, Reelfoot Lake is just 23 miles from Discovery Park, and it's a beautiful scenic area. Here in the regional gallery, you can experience an earthquake simulator that tells the story of how the 1811 and 1812 earthquakes formed Reelfoot Lake. And so that's a lot of fun to come out here and experience Discovery Park and head out to the lake, have some catfish, and actually see the lake that was formed by those earthquakes. So we have a little slithery friend we'd like to introduce you to. Lindsay, who do we have here?
So Ella is our speckled king snake here at Discovery Park, and she is one of the many animals that you can see on exhibit here in our regional history gallery. And I get to have a really fun job because I get to help take care of all these little animals that you can get to see whenever you get to visit us. So the speckled king snake is also known as the salt and pepper snake because they have black and white spots on their scales. So their scales are black, and almost every single one will have a white spot on it. And I've spent a lot of time with Ella, and I've never seen a scale that doesn't have a white spot on it. So she's one of the friendliest snakes that we have here at Discovery Park. She loves to come see people, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. And here in the regional gallery, you can see Ella, the speckled king snake, and also we have a 20,000-gallon aquarium right behind me that houses all the different fish that you can find inside Reelfoot Lake. So that's super neat. Okay. So we're going to pause right here, and we're going to take you to the next best place in the world, the military gallery.
So, Katie, where are we now?
Right now, we are in the military gallery here at Discovery Park inside the 100,000 square foot museum. And it's one of my favorite areas here that we have, and it's comparable to some of the best in the United States and in the world. We have an incredible collection that starts with the Civil War and walks you through World War I, II, and even the most recent war in Afghanistan and overseas. So, but I did want to show you because Discovery Park is such an interactive museum. And we have incredible collections. Right here on display is an actual Enigma machine. And I don't know if it was the one that cracked the code, but it's definitely one of the real ones. And if you've seen The Imitation Game, you know all about that. And then if you come over here, there is the interactive where you can enter the code. Well, you do the screen, and then you can crack the code and it times you and everything. So it's a super, super neat experience. And then we're going to turn around really quickly because this is one of my favorite pieces here is the PT Stearman hanging from the ceiling. A lot of people, when they haven't heard about Discovery Park, they don't really know what to expect. But I tell them, I say, it is so big that we have a PT Stearman hanging from the ceiling and it's got plenty of room. So, and then the military gallery just continues down with all the different vehicles on display. And then it heads into the transportation gallery. Okay, so this is a Mark I tank, and it was used in World War I. And this is a unique tank because it's actually made of wood. A show called Museum Men from the History Channel approached us. I believe it was like September of 2014 or 15. I remember I had just started working out here, and so it was really exciting. But the show contacted us, and they wanted to build us this tank, and then there's also some other items in the Enlightenment Gallery, and they featured us on the show. So that was super cool to be a part of that. So, but the tank, it's made out of wood, and the colors are camo. I really don't know. But I just know the history behind how we got it. I don't know the history.
Okay. So you're continuing, there are items continue to be added into the museum.
Yeah, and especially this December, we're going to have the agriculture exhibit, which is going to be super, super awesome. Me being from the city, I had no idea that my corn came from a cornfield. I just thought it came from the grocery store. Okay. So it's going to tell the innovation of agriculture and the technology used behind it, and that corn actually does have to be grown from the ground and harvested, and then, all that stuff. So that's going to be added. It's going to be in the Simmons Bank Ag Center, which is the tractor barn that now has all the antique farm equipment and tractors. So that's one big permanent exhibit that we are adding. And then we do add a couple little items here and there. And we usually feature those on our social media and let our followers know about those.
So now that you know about corn, then moonshine makes more sense to you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Katie, how were these items selected and procured then by the museum?
That is a great question. From what I've heard, because I wasn't here from the beginning.
Right. Okay.
But Mr. Kirkland hired a man named Hugh Wade, who's a local community leader in this area. And he was great at picking out and finding all these different vehicles. He was on eBay. He was on the internet. He was calling all of his friends. And so he had a big part in choosing all these vehicles and artifacts in the military gallery.
Gallery, okay. And it covers the Civil War all the way through Afghanistan then.
Correct. And the big Huey helicopter that's on display in the middle, kids and adults can climb in it. And that's one thing that Mr. Kirkland always wanted about this museum was he wanted everything to be interactive, and he wanted kids to learn by touching and feeling and just a hands-on experience, because that's how a lot of kids learn too.
Learn, right. Okay, fascinating. Where are we headed next?
All right, we're headed to the transportation gallery to see Scott. So we just checked out the military gallery, and now where are we?
We're in the transportation gallery, which is one of my personal favorites. We have a lot of really fantastic collectible automobiles here. And Mr. Kirkland put out a rule when he first started the transportation gallery. Every car in here has to be refurbished to the point that it can drive out. You just put in a battery and gas. So all of these we could drive out if we need. So Katie, of all the cars here in the transportation gallery, which one is your favorite?
Oh, that's such a great question. There are so many incredible automobiles here, but I'm gonna have to say the one that's right behind me, 1996 Dodge Viper GTS. It looks super sleek. I love the colors of it, royal blue and white. I mean, I could just see myself in this car.
I mean, I think this has you written all over.
I think so too. I'm not sure if I can afford it.
How were the cars selected as to which ones would be in the museum? Were they looking for certain types or manufacturers or?
Same thing with that I mentioned earlier. There was a transportation committee.
Okay.
And they worked with Hugh Wade, and they went everywhere to try to find different cars that represent different eras. We actually have one car that's really interesting. That was a car that was driven by W.C. Fields. Then we have cars that we have Model T, very, very early Model Ts as well here in the transportation gallery.
And you said they're race cars, motorcycles, all different types of vehicles.
There are, and those are actually my favorite cars. If you want to come over here, for a lot of reasons, I love these race cars that we have on display. we actually have the very first Federal Express race car on display that was driven by Sammy Swindell. It was driven by Sammy Swindell, and it was the very first FedEx race car. Now, of course, FedEx has since spent millions and millions of dollars on race cars, but we've got where it started right here.
Okay, so that's kind of like the outlaw circuit, they call those cars, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So FedEx sponsored that car. Okay.
FedEx sponsored this car. Over here, we have photographs of Sammy Swindell when he was driving that car.
Okay.
And he is actually in the Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and they have another one of these on display there as well.
Okay. So you got Indy cars or Indy type racers and NASCAR and all of it. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Over here, we've got the famous Budweiser sponsored car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's right. That was driven by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Of course, a lot of people have a lot of feelings about this car and a lot of great memories spent watching races and watching the Earnhardts win races. So this is one that's always really popular. How about we show you a little bit of what we have right outside? Not very many places in Northwest Tennessee can you go to find an actual Titan missile. Y'all want to go check it out?
All right, let's go check it out. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So Scott, where are we now?
We are actually standing in the middle of STEM Landing right outside the military gallery. Of course, everybody knows that STEM is really important for kids today, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so it was really a great way for us to incorporate that into Discovery Park of America. Right behind me, we have a lot of artifacts in the Moon Dome that are actually from NASA that kids can touch and play with and explore. We have helicopters, we have airplanes. We actually have a Blue Angel airplane right behind me. But what I really wanted to show you was one of my personal favorite things here at Discovery Park. And I wanted to show you how we can actually make it take off. So this is the Titan missile. And it is an actual Titan missile that they actually went down to Florida and brought up here to Discovery Park and spent months refurbishing and making it just exactly as it was when it took off. So let's go over here and we're gonna make it take off. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
Katie, are you gonna board?
Oh, yes.
So first of all, you gotta load the propellers. Then you have to raise the launcher. Don't get burned. And then you hit the launch button. Goodbye, Katie. Okay, so it doesn't really take off, but the ground vibrates. The noise is really loud, so you can pretend a little bit that it took off.
Wow.
So we're going to step over here just a little bit, and Katie's going to point out a big part of our history here in what we call the settlement.
Yeah, so you can see behind me, beyond the Blue Angels plane, we have the 1800 settlement that has about 11 different log cabins that you can walk in and out of. There's a David Crockett cabin. We've got the Sleeping Beauty cabin, which is one of my favorite cabins that we have out there. It tells the story of a woman who fell asleep, but she was still alive. And then it's just a really unique story to Obion County. And then you can go and see how they would cure the different meats. And then we do have living historians that come out and do demonstrations. They'll teach you how to make candles out of beeswax, and then also lye soap as well. And then beyond that, there's a heritage garden that's where he gets all of the different supplies to make those things for the guests. So it's really, really neat out there.
Katie, how much time should people allow to visit Discovery Park?
Oh my gosh, if you want to do it right, it'll take you 2 days.
Okay.
You can
And there are
spend one
hotels,
day.
there are hotels nearby now, right?
There are hotels right next door. The Mainstay and Sleep Inn is now open and taking reservations. And then pretty soon, the Holiday Inn Express will also be open and taking reservations as well. And it's literally right next door to us. So you can come and spend the day doing the inside stuff and then grab some dinner at the Grind in Martin. They're known for their huge milkshakes and their obnoxious hamburgers and just delicious food. And then come back, stay the night, and then come back out to Discovery Park and do all the grounds outside.
Now, I know you have many exhibits coming in, one on suffrage during the year 2020 and others that are coming in. Best way to keep up with that is how?
Of course, go to discoveryparkofamerica.com and everything is listed right there. And also follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that.
Okay. Well, Katie, it's been a real pleasure. I appreciate you and Scott carrying us through this. It was kind of a unique experiment for us, and it's quite exciting to see. And I know more and more people in Western City are going to find out about Discovery Park of America and all over the world.
Well, thank y'all for setting this up and everything, and we're excited to get the word out.
We'll hope to see you soon in person.
In person, right.
Thanks a lot, Katie. Scott, we appreciate it.
You got it.
Our thanks to Katie Jarvis and to Scott Williams and all the folks at Discovery Park of America. Stay with us here at E+ TV6 because this is the place where the dialogue continues.
The Webster Dictionary defines inspiration as the power of moving the intellect and emotions. Since opening its doors in 2013, millions of children and adults have experienced that power firsthand and have benefited from the vision of Robert Kirkland and the community of Union City, Tennessee.
It's a story you're not going to hear over and over and over. It's probably the most unique story of our community, in that somebody not only chose to live here, but they chose to invest and give back.
All of us here at Discovery Park like to keep in mind how we started and the original vision for our museum and heritage park. Everything we do, we try to make sure that we're focused on important things like education and innovation and inspiring children and adults to see beyond.
Discovery Park of America is almost as hard to describe as it is to believe. With exhibits and interactive hands-on experiences focused on science, technology, history, art, and more, you literally never know what is right around the next corner. And many times, it's something you've never seen before.
For our students, some of them, it's their first time being on an escalator, being on an elevator, but then the real part is when they come and see these activities, these hands-on artifacts from different areas.
It's very educational for them, and it's a fun education. They don't really know that they're learning whenever they're involved in it, so we just love that this is something that we can share with them.
And also, we want to support this, just because there's not just fun times here, just come to play and throw them into a little play area. They learn here. We all learn here.
We've been given a powerful gift by Robert and Jenny Kirkland, and thanks to our volunteers, our sponsors, and our generous donors, we plan to make certain we take stewardship of that gift seriously so that Discovery Park will be here for the communities we serve for decades to come.
As we look into the future, we're excited about the lives that will be changed, the many new careers begun, and the new and different paths that will be taken because of visiting Discovery Park of America and being inspired to see beyond.